First, Lauren, you say you're young in HR, but you have learned what is most important. It's all about people. It's all about people. So that's the most, continuing that journey. We will continue to talk about change. Oh. I have the same problem. I like to walk. Think about the following. You have all been working on a lot of different change initiatives over the years. And imagine one of them, also you put a lot of effort into planning. The strategy look very well. The PowerPoint is fantastic. You even use AI to get the wording correct and it looks so nice. The action planning in Excel looks perfect. So what could possibly go wrong? And then you learn that it doesn't have the impact you hoped for. You're not meeting the targets. In this session, I will talk about what I have learned over 30 years with a lot of change work in very different types of change work as well. Everything from leading integration of immigrants into sports club, establishing beach volleyball as an Olympic discipline, working in ABB, Siemens, Alstom on a lot of change initiatives, building engineering centers in different countries. I worked in global finance with initiatives. And now I'm working in, and have been facing over the last 4 years, probably the most challenging change journey. And that is related to my work in CEPI, where I lead people and organizational development. CEPI, Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness of Innovations. That's about vaccine development, accelerate vaccine development. CEPI was established in 2017 by World Economic Forum. And the reason for why it was established was that we learned that there was a market failure out there. We knew that there are a lot of potential infectious diseases out there, which may happen. COVID came. We have learned Ebola for some years ago. We have Mpox now. We have different types which can come up, and we don't know. Industry, the pharma industry, biotech industry, they're not interested to spend a lot of money on something which may not result in revenue. So that's why CEPI was established, to ensure that we are managed to these risks which openly were there. The other part was related to access. If you're leading a big pharma, you're looking at how much money can we make. You're not necessarily interested in ensuring that there is a cost level of medicines, all kinds of medicines, in the poor countries who are not able to pay for them. So these are the mechanisms we have been working on. When COVID hit, we became aware of this in November 2019, where we got the first information from Wuhan. In January, we had already managed to establish partnership with organizations started to develop vaccines. It took 1 month, and we started that work. And CEPI, as a co-developer and a funder, we managed then to ensure that vaccine development, instead of taking 6 years minimum, it took less than 1 year. This is some of the programs we have been working on. We have also talked about AI today. Under innovations here, so we have the first medical product which has been now approved by medical agencies. It was developed as part of this Corona program as well. This is going to change, also AI will change the whole medicine and life sciences industry completely over the next years. We know that. And the key is that it will replace a lot of the work we do, what we call preclinical work, before testing on human beings. Okay, let us start with the change journey. We went from a startup where we thought we had good time to work on the agreed disease areas, and then we were hit by COVID. And we need to change all priorities. Our mandate was given by G20, also the large Western countries. And what happens is that you don't follow procedures anymore when we have such a global crisis. Don't look at procurement mechanisms, etc. You just make it happen as quickly as possible. We need rapidly to build the organization, and we need rapidly to build a lot of partnerships. And then, happily, COVID ended, and CEPI as an organization came out with a much broader mandate. And now we are considered to be a global security player. And we now have what we call the 100 days mission, which means that next outbreak, it shouldn't take more than 100 days before a vaccine can be manufactured. This is extremely ambitious and require a complete new ways of working with medicines. For leadership in this kind of context, it is quite challenging. We know startup requires all these agility factors, continues on response to COVID. Agility is number 1, 2, and 3. You need to be willing to take a lot of risks. When you meet a health challenge like COVID, when you build a vaccine portfolio, you cannot just trust one platform which will work. You need to work on a lot of different candidates. And that is extremely challenging for our people in R&D. I think they worked day and night for 2, 3, 4 years. And now we are entering into a new phase, which is a little bit more stable. But we see now we have mpox, we have bird flu, all these kind of things. And you know, the worst thing is that none of us know what may come and what will happen. None of us. There is uncertainty about what can come in terms of the health challenges. It can be a new COVID. It can be much, much worse than COVID was. We don't know. It can come from natural evolution, or it can come from bioterror. We don't know. Also, and the key then for the world is to build readiness. How can we be as well prepared as possible? And this is what we spend a lot of time on in this 100 days mission. Let's go into the key learnings. I have been HR leader also for many, many years. I think I have been leading the HR change initiatives on if it is recruitment or it's building organizations or building learning platforms and all these kind of things. But if I should look at what I believe is most important of all the important factors based on my experience, it would be the following. One is very basic. What are the boundary conditions? And what we mean with that is what are the minimum goals for both the current operations? Normally when we change, we need to continue what we have going. In parallel, we need to make the change. What are the minimum goals for current and the future? When your managing director, CEO, or head is coming to you and want like you to do work on something, never underestimate that it requires a time of investment. Always. All changes require investments. Time, resources, mindset, and not only your time. Very often you need to work with a lot of other people who believe they are very, very busy. So think about this very, very carefully. This formula, if you're not aware of it, write it down. Many years ago, I worked with what was called Six Sigma. Some of you probably are aware of it. It was GE who launched this first very broadly. It was a tool then to standardize ways of working to be more as efficient as possible. The most important learning from this work, and I think all organizations that have implemented it, was this formula. It means that the impact of any change initiative is based on two factors. One is the quality. You sit in your room and you write something fantastic and you think it's brilliant. You get a score 8 out of 10. Beautiful. Acceptance is related to how you're able to engage and involve the stakeholders in it. And if you're not succeeding in that, if people you expect should implement it is not interested in that, you get a score of 2. 8 multiplied with 2 is 16 out of 100. That is not an A. Impact is very low. And so this is very much about task and people. It's very easy to forget the human part in change processes. But as Lauren highlighted for us, it's all about people. So never underestimate this part. When we read from McKinsey reports that a lot of mergers fail, it's based on that fact. That's part. Quality part, due diligence on they look at financial, how we can connect, etc., looks beautiful. But people doesn't match. They don't get the leaders to work together. They don't manage to get the mechanisms in place. In HR, when we are guiding line manager related to meeting, for instance, I hope that we say that when you plan an operational meeting, stick to operational issues. Don't try to mix that with developmental issues. Our brain is not functioning very effectively if you start to work 45 minutes on operational issues. Okay, it's time to discuss something for 10 minutes in the end. Same when we managed COVID, we set up a complete different governance structure to ensure that we remained focused on the starting diseases and COVID in parallel. Yes, it was a huge investment, but it's the only way to ensure the necessary focus. And the last part, everything is about trade-offs to accept that there are many perspectives in play, and do not assume that there exists only one solution. If you in your head believe that this is the only way to do it, it is not. There are other ways, and people think differently. And that is the strength, that's the power of diversity as well. So if you look at key learnings, I will come back to why I use this picture. First, which several of you already highlighted, why change, what changes? Also, what is the problem we try to fix? Most changes, if you start to ask people about, okay, what is the problem you try to fix? People are very often not able to formulate that in a specific way. We don't know what really, but it looks nice to have a process on that. But spend time, what is the problem you try to fix before you do anything? The second one is extremely important, of course. When you go to work, yes, you have your own tasks, but the other part is to help others succeed. This is becoming more and more important. It's not about how you perform, it's about how your team perform. And to have this as a mindset and expectation, some chooses to formulate, said, okay, you spend 70% of your own tasks, 30% you spend on helping others perform better. I can tell you that if you speak with Pep Guardiola, he will say this is the core of being a football coach. Yes, I've studied mathematics, so we need a new formula. This one is everyone working in Ministry of Finances worldwide is fully aware of this formula. It states that behavior is a function of personality and situation. If you look at the macro perspective, in Norway, 9 out of 10 new cars are electrical vehicles. It's not because we are more environmental focused than here in Germany. It's because we have changed completely the tax regulations. You change the situation, you change behavior. On the team level, all of you in your teams, in your organization, some people are extroverts, some are introverts, and with teams it can be, or Zoom it can be more challenging. Instead of putting a problem in front of the team who has comments, because the extroverts would always start to talk. Change the situation. Just say, okay, let us spend now 3-4 minutes to think about this, and then you will direct the order who will speak. This is also bringing much better inclusion and diversity in the conversation. And this is, again, it's difficult to change personality, but situation can be changed. And finally, be aware of what you see is all there is bias, Daniel Kahneman. When I have learning sessions with recruiters, I use this picture of the wall and the window without this text. And if you think about it, when we meet a person or a situation, we only know a very small piece. A very small piece. We can think about it as a window we are opening. But how can we get more credible, relevant information? And this is for everything we do. Before I say thank you, I have a book here. This morning I met Nikhil. He's sitting here. Raise your hand. And he shared with me, as his all tables, this publication, which is very practical about mindfulness. And I can promise you, if you get the opportunity to get some words with him this afternoon, you will appreciate it. He is very insightful. So, that's all. Thanks.